There's a story most people will never admit out loud. A story about the night someone completely lost faith in God and then experienced something they still can't explain years later. Not in church, not during prayer, not during some miracle healing. It happened in a dark apartment with unpaid bills on the table, anxiety attacks hitting hard, and one sentence screamed into the ceiling: God, if you're real, why are you silent? And what happened next changed everything. So before you skip this video, listen carefully, because this story might be exactly what someone watching tonight needs to hear. His name was Daniel, 34 years old, living in Chicago, working 2 jobs, sleeping 4 hours a night. From the outside, normal guy, but inside, he was collapsing. The previous year had destroyed him. His mother died from cancer, his fiancée left him, and the company he gave 6 years of his life to fired him in one email. No warning, no respect, just, your position has been terminated. That sentence broke something in him, because Daniel had done everything right, worked hard, stayed loyal, helped people, never caused problems, and yet somehow life kept punching him in the face. You know what's crazy? Millions of people feel exactly like that right now. They smile in public, but privately, they're exhausted, confused, angry, especially at God. Because nobody talks about the hardest part of pain. It's not just suffering, it's feeling abandoned while suffering. And Daniel felt abandoned. The night everything hit, one rainy Thursday night, Daniel sat alone in his apartment eating cold fast food. The TV was on, but he wasn't even watching it. His phone buzzed, another bill overdue. He looked around the room and whispered, "How did my life become this?" That's when something snapped. He stood up, started pacing, then suddenly screamed, "Where are you, God?" Not a polite prayer, not a church prayer, a real human cry, the kind people are usually too afraid to say out loud. He punched the kitchen counter, started crying, breathing heavy, and then he said something terrifying. "I'm done believing." Silence, no thunder, no angel, nothing, just silence. And honestly, that silence is where most people quit. Because when heaven feels quiet, people assume God left. But sometimes, silence is preparation, not rejection. The strange encounter, around 11:47 p.m., Daniel decided to go for a walk. Rain was pouring outside. He walked 3 blocks without direction until he reached a small convenience store. Inside was an older man mopping the floor. The man looked up and smiled. And before Daniel said a single word, the man said, "You look like you've been carrying the world alone." Daniel froze. Now maybe that sounds small to you, but when your heart is breaking, even one sentence can hit like lightning. Daniel laughed awkwardly. Then the man said something stranger. "You've been asking God where he is, haven't you?" Daniel's face changed instantly, because nobody knew what happened in that apartment. Nobody. He asked, "How would you know that?" The old man shrugged, then calmly said, "Because people usually ask that question right before God changes something." The conversation. Daniel stayed there for almost an hour, and the old man never preached at him. That's important. He didn't shame him, didn't throw Bible verses aggressively, didn't act religious, he just listened. And sometimes, that's the closest thing to God people experience. Someone who listens without judging. Eventually, the old man told him this: "Faith isn't believing life is easy. Faith is believing God is still present when life becomes unbearable." That sentence stayed in Daniel's mind for years, because suddenly he realized something. Maybe God's silence didn't mean absence. Maybe he'd been looking for dramatic miracles while ignoring small daily mercies. The fact he was still alive, still breathing, still fighting. Maybe that itself was proof he wasn't abandoned. The turning point. Nothing magical happened overnight, and this is where most fake stories lie. Daniel didn't suddenly become rich, didn't instantly become happy. Something changed internally. Hope returned, and hope is powerful. Within months, he found a better job, started therapy, reconnected with his younger brother, began sleeping peacefully again. But here's the interesting part. Years later, Daniel admitted the biggest miracle wasn't the new job. It was surviving the version of himself that almost gave up. Think about that. Some of you watching this video right now, you don't need all the answers today. You just need enough strength to survive this chapter. That's it. Because people often underestimate what God can rebuild from broken pieces. If this story touched you even a little, comment, still holding on. Because someone scrolling through these comments